Hi guys, welcome to another video from Greedy Trader. Hope everyone's doing awesome. I know I haven't put out videos a lot, largely because I've been busy with trading and other things, but I'm glad obviously you guys are watching. Now this video is about how to set up your order flow stroke dome chart. So in other words, how do you set up your dome so that it looks somewhat like this, right? So I guess this is what you guys are used to seeing in my videos, and I've got a lot of questions from a lot of people in terms of how do we get this set up. Now I did promise I will do a video covering that, and I'll show you guys exactly how I got my dome or my depth of market to look like this. So once again, I hope you're going to enjoy this video, and I hope it's useful when it comes to how to set up your dome using Sierra charts. Okay, so again, if you're looking to get your dome set up so it looks like mine with Sierra charts, and you've been probably going through my depth of market programs, then again guys, if you're interested in my programs around depth of market, just go to the description link below and you get all the information you need. But if you're trying to get your dome to look just like this, I'm going to show you how you get that done. Right, so stay tuned guys. Okay, so markets are closed, so basically you can see that there's no data on my dome just because the markets are closed and there's basically no level 2 information out there, so effectively nothing comes to the screen, so nothing saves. So this is all live data that will normally stream in for the exchanges. So what I've got here is a dome or depth of market for pound futures. This is the September contract, and it's, as you can see, this is the bar for the September contract. Okay, so you can actually see it's pound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the settings that I first would look at before I try and get this set up. Now there are a couple of ways you can go about doing this. Now you can go and do it for each individual chart, which is fine. So all you'll have to do is you'll have to go to graphic settings, where you can effectively alter everything you need to alter in your dome. So if you scroll down, you'll be able to see, you can start with this initially. That sort of tells you like the last price trade on your dome, your quantity last price, so what kind of grid. So as you can see, mine is silver, secondary grid is also silver, and that's why I get this grayish background. So you can alter this as well. So if you can look at my bid lines and my ask lines, they're all that they look like this. So when my dome sort of sets up, you'll be able to see that. So that's the first thing you can kind of alter. Now remember, when you're getting this set up, you want to ensure that use global settings is unticked. Because the thing is, if you leave global settings ticked, you are going to be, it's basically going to override everything you've done. Now I found that out the hard way after I put together my dome exactly looking the way it was, and I forgot to click global settings, and I applied and nothing happened on the dome. I was like, what is going on? And then I had to go back and review it, and then I realized that having this ticked meant that all my changes were overwritten. So just be quite careful about that. I think it goes for a lot of other graphic settings that you're going to do. So if we scroll further down, you'll see that you've got trade dome, which is this. It's different from the chart dome, and I'll come to that. I've got both up. You don't need to have both. Some people might prefer to do everything through a chart dome because that links with your candlesticks and it looks quite nice, or you can do everything as a separate dome. So you find that a lot of the pro type guys that you watch, maybe you've seen a couple on YouTube, maybe you watch a lot of what I do, or you probably follow some of those guys who get on podcasts and stuff like that. You would find that their dome looks quite similar to this, or depending on the platform they're using, they would have something that's quite close to this kind of setup where they're trading primarily from a separate dome and they're not really interacting with the chart. Whilst I do have chart options to interact with, so if I right click on my chart, I'll be able to basically buy and sell on the chart, and I can use hotkeys and various other things, which we're not going to get into now. But you'd find that a lot of other type traders would prefer to just trade directly off the dome. So if you're going to do that, then you can start working with this. So first and foremost, you can put the, as you can see, my buy column background I've set to very dark blue, And then you can do the same thing for your cell column background, which I've set to very dark red, so that's why it looks like that. And then, so first and foremost, to cut a long story short, you want to start with the background, so you know exactly what you're doing. So you can see my cell column lines. Again, they're all gray because I just wanted that uniform look at the background. And you can see my bid column background. It will be showing green, but like I said, the market is not yet open, so you can't really see that other information reflecting. So I'm not going to sort of label that. So as we go down, we can sort of change more settings. Right, so as you go, you can see that there you can start to, and as you do it, it will tend to start happening in real time. So if you change something, you can just hit apply and you'll see it in real time as everything changes. So you can see that my buy order quantity, so again, if we just double back to what that looks like on this video here, so I'm just going to close this briefly so you guys can get to see that. So that's my last trade here that's been recorded on the offer side or the buy side, and that's why it's light blue. So that's the exact setting that we were visualizing there, which is, so I'm having to go back and forth because I don't have a live market. So again, we just go to yeah, sometimes I get lost myself, graphic settings, and we're good to go. So there we go. So if we go back down, so that's effectively those features that we're changing down here. So if you're ever confused, so buy order quantity was light blue and sell order quantity will be light pink. So that will be reflected as we go down. And obviously you got the daily high, so sometimes you'll see like a little green bar on my dome. That's just saying what the day's high is, and the red is the day's low. So all of these changes get reflected, and obviously my center line is black. Now if you don't want something to display, you just got to uncheck enable, right? Because when you get all this stuff set up, you want to ensure that certain things are enabled to show, right? That's pretty crucial, otherwise they won't show. So just got to bear in mind. I find it's a bit weird with Sierra. Some things can be enabled and show, and other things need to be enabled. So just play around with that. Could be a problem in the Sierra code, I don't know, but I'm sure they'll fix it in their own time. They do tend to fix a lot of things, so that is not too much of a concern. So that's the basics. So this is where you go to get it set up your dome, to get it to look this way. So the key things that you probably want to look at initially is these order quantities. So you know when we step up the ladder on a buy and that prints, you kind of know that this color here represents the buy print and this color here represents the sell print. So that's how you keep track of the sort of bids and offers coming in. Again, let me have a look and see if there's anything else important. Alright, so I sent the text to white because you're going to be seeing a lot of this stuff on a colored background, and I felt white just kind of worked. So if I scroll down again, let's have a look. Yeah, so the other information that you probably want to do as well, like what we see, the cumulative totals, for example, and just so you can see what those cumulative totals look like. So if I push that video, so this is what I'm talking about here, cumulative totals. So this is cumulative buy orders, cumulative sell orders, and there's also pulling and stacking, which again we'll come to. So if you do see how this dome is ticking, you can see my bids are coming in pink and my offers are coming in light blue, and then you can see here that's reflected. So it's exactly the same with all these other things that we're going to add in. All of it will be happening. So get rid of this. Yeah, all of this will technically be happening. So you should go back to graphic settings. All of it will be happening as we kind of adjust this data. So you can see that my pulling and stacking negative has a color which is red, and again you can see my pulling and stacking is generally put in red, and again you can see, so it depends on what we're looking at. So whether you're looking at bid market, ask market, pulling, stacking, those colors will reflect. So you can change these and see how they play out on the chart. So especially if you're working with a live DOM, because initially when you boot the Dodo up, you don't have many columns even. And I'll show you how you're going to set the columns so that they look like this. But I thought I'd just show you guys initially where you edit those settings, because that will probably be everyone's issue in the beginning. So hopefully that's clear in terms of where you go to adjust your settings so your DOM looks like this. I would have happily gone through each individual one and show you an example, but that it isn't a live market. Unfortunately, I can't do that. But if you go here to graphic settings, which you can find in chart, you won't have a problem. And how do you get this your DOM box up? So I guess that's a critical question. So I've just minimized that. So you want to go to file. Well, I've got saved kind of templates, okay. But again, if you wanted to open a new chart book, for example, if I say open chart book, it gives me a list of chart books to open, so that's fine. But if say I wanted to open a completely new chart book, okay, so you can do that here by open trading DOM. If I wanted to open a trading DOM for a chart like I've done here, I'll just do that. So let's say I wanted to open a completely new chart book, but I wanted it to be set up as a DOM. Yeah, so it's popping up on my other screen. Ouch. I was hoping it would pop up here so you guys can see, but never mind. What I will do is, actually, let me come out of this. There's a better way to show you guys this. Give me 2 seconds. I just go to file and close chart book. Okay, so I go into that chart book. So there's a better way to do this. So if you got a chart open, right, you can just literally go to chart settings, right, and then you could do find and then select what you want to launch, and then it will literally tell you if you want to open that as a DOM or do you want to open that as a normal chart. So that should be able to give you your DOM book that comes up. So if I wanted to open a trading DOM, for example, I could just do it that way, select my instrument, whatever futures contract I'm looking at, and then go to open trading DOM, right? Or I can go to, so let's just do that. So I've clicked file, as in find symbol. Let's see. So it should give me another trading DOM, and this is what your trading DOM will look like when you initially sort of boot it up. So you now have to go and adjust all those graphic settings so that you can get it to look like the DOM that I initially had up, which is this one here. So it's not going to appear like this straight away. So there are a couple of edits you can do at this stage. Is you can go to chart, and let's have a look. You go to chart settings. Whoops. Actually, no, I don't want to do that one. So let's go to chart, and then you can go to customize. So you want to customize those settings, and there's another way you can do it. The thing with Sierra, there's so many ways you can do it, but we want to specifically customize the columns so we can get more columns like this. Yeah, and sorry guys if I'm taking you a bit back in the loop, but this is probably the easiest way to do it. So if, like, for example, I can add last price, up left, apply. So what will then happen is a column will now be in place to show effectively my pretty much my last size, right? But because it's not a live market, you can't actually see that. And then I might be able to want to add something like maybe recent bid volume, for example. So I can then do up left, recent bid volume, and then apply, right? And then that will show up as recent bid volume, right? So again, if I click OK, you can see that it's added another column for last trade, and it also is that it's put in place another column for recent bid volume. So you can keep adding these things until you create the columns that you need, and then you can edit those columns. So for example, so if I'm customizing and I want this to show, I can give it a title. So recent bid volume, let's say I can call that RBV. So, and let me apply. So you can see it says RBV for recent bid volume, right? And if I say I wanted to add something like recent ask volume to match that, so you literally have to build it from scratch, and let's say we move that down left to ask and then apply, so it's added another column, and then I can call that recent ask. So let's say we call it RAV, right? And then I apply, right? So you can see that those columns get set up based on where you want them. So now we're starting to build our dome, and so this is just adding columns that we need, that we feel are vital, and those will show up and be part of our whole dome setup. So this is probably the beginning of where you need to start, is adding columns that you want in your dome, and that's why it's important. I've got a whole program on dome, so if you want to know what all those columns mean, etc., then you're probably watching this because you're trying to find out about the dome, or you've probably done one of my programs and then you're coming to kind of see how the dome gets set up. So whatever you're trying to do, it's totally okay. Just make sure that you set up your columns first, right? Because that way it'll make your life a little bit easier, and then you can put all the columns you want in. So that's kind of how you get your dome up and how you get to set the columns. You can pretty much, so I'm going to close that. So if I don't want this dome, I can just remove, and that dome disappears, and then back. So you can literally use the find symbol. So you got a file, find symbol, to open your dome, right? So again, it just depends on what you want to do. So that concludes with that one in terms of getting the columns for the dome, and we know where to do the settings to get the dome set up the way we want it to look. Now there's another step to this which can make your life considerably easier in the future, is you can edit all of this in global settings. So rather than doing the graphic settings for each individual dome, you can just set it all up in graphic settings, and you can basically do the very same adjustment that we were doing here, but so that it's for every single dome that you open would look like that. So it saves you, and that becomes the default setting. So it saves you having to redo it again. Sadly enough, even though I'm showing you this, I haven't done that for myself. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's laziness. Maybe I want to just leave mine the way it is. But you can edit most things, whether it's the chart dome, which is this one here, so you can get it to display and tell it everything you want it to show. You can get that set up here as well, and this is what you set up to trade the dome. So for example, if we left click on buy column above last, we're supposed to be setting a buy limit order, for example. So you can do like mini things like create little shortcuts and stuff, things that make your trading comfortable. So it's see, the thing about Sierra, it's quite an in-depth platform, right? So hopefully that kind of sheds a light on it, really. But you can basically do all the adjustments you need in global settings. So you adjust the graphic settings that you want, and then you can adjust the individual settings, so for your chart dome, if you like, as well. Okay, so that kind of concludes, really. There's not much really to dome setting up. It's just you need to know where to go and look to get this set up. So hopefully this video has turned out to be incredibly useful to guys trying to set it up. It's a shame I couldn't do it playbook by playbook because it's not a live market, but maybe one of these days when I decide not to trade a day and it is a live market, I can start playing around and set up a complete dome from scratch. But honestly speaking, guys, it is not complicated. Just give it a go, literally. You can see here that, you know, you can see all these little bits you can add in. Draw dome graph on chart, you know, so if you wanted to put a graph for your dome so you can literally see it, you know, sort of join to the candlestick, you can do that. So there are a lot of different things you can do to get your level 2 information on. Now lastly, it's not enough. I've seen guys go and just get Sierra charts and hope to get level 2 data. Guys, you do subscribe for level 2 data. You can't just literally, it's not possible. You can't just literally go on to Sierra and then get level 2. You're going to pay Sierra to get a channel for level 2 plus the data fee, or you're going to go to a broker that is a futures broker that is registered on the futures exchange. So none of these European CFD traders, brokers who are not registered on the exchange, you're not going to get much joy. So you need to get one of those, and then you need to do an API setup into like Interactive Brokers. But maybe I'll leave that for another video, because this video is already like heading up to 20 minutes. But I'll leave that for another video where I'll show you guys how you can take your Interactive Brokers data and link it to your Sierra charts. Because I use IB, I'm just showing you that, but I'm sure other brokers have ways to connect to Sierra. So normally if I go to file in my data settings, I can never remember exactly what the options are. The thing about Sierra, you just get used to doing it. But data and trade settings. So you can see here that I've got all my IPs and stuff set up. So this is Interactive Brokers Live Trading, and this is the port that I've set for Interactive Brokers Live Trading. So it connects to my IB and it links. And remember, this is local, so you can't really do this remotely. So it's all local, and so I get to set all the things that I want here, all the options, just so I get real data, etc. And then that streams from my Interactive Brokers into my Sierra charts. Okay, and once that happens, I can now trade on Sierra charts, and Interactive Brokers will pick up all the trades. So whether I'm using my DOM, because as you can see, it allows me to fill orders on IB if I want to. So as long as I've done all these options and I've set the port communication to my local IB, then I'm good to go. And that's why we have these options. But if you look at the list, you can see there are a lot of brokers here, from LMAX to some of them I don't even know, to be honest. There's IB, Google Financial Data, FXCM, Gain Capital, Rhythmic, this is Sierra Charts, their own live data for auto routing, just a little bit expensive though. TD Ameritrade, it doesn't matter who you're with. Bloomberg, so if you got a terminal, for example, you can Kinetic. CQG, for guys who use CQG. Ducas Copy, there's quite a few companies up in here. So you should be able to find what it is you want for a broker. And if you're not using one of these guys, then you probably need to refer to Sierra's Transact, and quite a few. So you can refer to Sierra Charts in order to see what they can do to connect you guys up. Now remember, Sierra and Ninja, these guys are competing platforms, so don't expect to have Ninja and then route your API to Sierra and then back to your broker. You're kind of going to have to decide what platform you're going to use. But if you decided to go with Sierra, for example, that's how you would do the link up if you're using Sierra, IB, or any of those brokers listed. So awesome stuff, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching. If I spoke a little bit too fast, is because I'm time conscious as well about doing this video. I don't want people sitting on this video for half an hour and thinking they're not getting anything from it. But again, just to recap the basics: getting your DOM set up, find symbol, find what you want to trade, get that up to start with. So once you've gone through that step, you're pretty much home and dry. You can now start your basic edits, right? So once you've fired up your symbol, you've opened your trading DOM, and that's popped up, you're good to go. Now things like this you can disable. So let's minimize that again. So let's say, for example, I've locked all trading. I tend to do that. Let's say we don't want to attach trade window to chart. We can just declick that, close that, and then now we've got a full DOM, right? So just little things, right? It's not hard, and then we can start to compress it, and then now start the building process. So once we start to add columns, it'll start to spread out. We change the background, we change the color of things. Since we got more columns now, we can start to really customize it and get it to our look and feel. So it's all pretty basic, guys. Any questions, feel free to pop them down in the comments. I'll try and get to them when I get time. So don't worry if you don't hear from me. You can always join the Discord. I'll put all the links in the description. Awesome stuff, guys. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.